G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Friday, the 1st of May 2020, and the time here is 11 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Okay folks, well, lots to get through, so let me do my sponsors and we'll get into it. Okay, this is Totally Rawsome, as you guys all know. He's my sponsor. If you don't, they make golden activated turmeric paste. It is fantastic stuff, folks. Listen, if you're not trying it, if you're old or you have joint pain or whatever, get some of this stuff. It actually works. Right, now, let me read this to you. Order processing and dispatch. Due to a high volume inquiries and orders, as well as COVID-19 management plan procedures, there may be some delays in dispatch of orders. We apologise for any inconvenience caused and we thank you for your continued support. Well said. Now, guys, obviously everybody's going the same as this at the moment because there's, people want health foods and this stuff is just that. It's healthy for you and it helps you. If you want to get in contact with them, the mobile number here is 0433 165 848. Sorry, I'll read that again. 0433 165 848. Don't forget to drop the 0 and add 061 if you're calling from overseas. info@totallyrawsome.com.au. And lastly, but not leastly, is the Morgan Report. David Morgan, good friend of mine. He's become a good friend, I'd say, and is very good to this station. So, read or get into David's reports. You're mad if you don't. He's a silver guru. He is a guru. He's a financial expert. Listen to what he says. Okay. Right. Where are we all, eh? Where have we been? What are we getting up to? Etc. etc. I purposely haven't been doing videos because I wanted to see where the world was going to and, just look at the lay of the land. Now, one thing I wanted to say to you guys, it came up in the last video in the comment section, was Richie from Boston. Now, a lot of people said, oh, come on, you're joking if you don't know Richie from Boston. Look, I actually don't. I've never met the man, never spoken to him, nothing. And have very rarely, I've obviously heard about him, but I've never been in touch with him or anything like that. And now, look, this may surprise a few of you. I don't sit here every single day once I do this video and just watch YouTube, because I actually have a life. I very rarely, I have a chosen few people that I listen to, and even then I don't listen to them all the time because they tend to get, it's a bit dogmatic and it's the same message on every video, which kind of annoys me. So I don't watch every single video. I try to take snippets from different pieces of information, whether that be, and here's another thing. You have to listen to mainstream news. I don't care what you say, but you have to, because that's the propaganda machine, folks. And that's the ones where you're going to get the most messages. Obviously, what they're planning on doing. So you have to watch them. If everyone sitting out there doesn't watch them or says they don't watch them, you're lying. How do you get your information? And to be honest with you, how do I know what propaganda's coming up if I don't watch their video or their news? Now, I'm going to show you something. Sorry. We all know this was a big load of bullshit, this COVID-19 thing. And it's been proven. And it's actually been proven now by the two doctors in LA. Was it LA? California, sorry. Who came out with that video, and it had over 5 million views. And YouTube took it down. Why? Because it's the truth. Look, we all know this is one big load of bullshit, folks. You've only got to use common logic. How come you can get on a bus, a plane, go to school, do everything else, but you have to stay self-isolated in your house? And the simple reason is it was just to get control. Now, here's something interesting, and this is my take on this. Have you noticed how they're trying to disband it really quick? You know why? It's because people actually like it. Why? Because I don't know, I'll use my family as an example. I've got teenagers, growing up teenagers, 18 and 16, and I've got a son who's 25 who's disabled. Now, poor old George, he wouldn't know he was disabled. If he was sitting down, you wouldn't know there was anything wrong with him. He can't use his legs because he was born with cerebral palsy. But sharp as a button, folks. Believe me, he's really intelligent and a good kid, a good bloke to go with it. Thank God. My other two, here's something interesting. They've started training. Well, my other son was training anyway because he's at that age. My daughter is now training the house down every day. Train, keep her mind active. And we're actually having meals together. We're all cooking together. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing, folks. I'm not kidding you. It's been the best thing that ever happened to us. And I'm using that as an example because I can see other friends doing the same and other people doing the same. So what they did was they brought us all together, and now we've actually realised the benefit of a family. And I can guarantee you it's the same in America, same in the UK, all that sort of stuff. The biggest fuck up was they actually got people together and people started talking to each other and actually started spending time with each other and actually realised, yeah, that other life wasn't so good. That was shit. So now they're panicking and they're going to open up everything. But this is only stage 1 or stage 2 or whatever you want to call it, because there will be a rebound. I've already told my kids, I said, right, we'll go into this. Within 1 month, we'll all be locked down again. Guarantee it. You can even read it on the things. Did you know that Wuhan is currently in lockdown again? You kind of got a small snippet of it in the news, a really small snippet. Wuhan, locked down again because the virus took off again. So just wait, watch this space, read between the lines, folks. What's going to happen financially, though, is dire. And look, I don't even know how to actually bring this up without sounding doom and gloomy and everything else. But anything that you know of in your before COVID-19 is finished. Now, the government's going to obviously try to get people to go back to work. So let's go through this for a second. How many people are out of work? Millions. How many businesses have closed down? Millions. How much money's been lost? Trillions. Did you hear that last bit? How much money's been lost? Trillions. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll understand that this is now worse than the Great Depression. We're actually in a depression right now as we're speaking, but no one's using the D word, depression, which is kind of weird in itself, isn't it, really? Why not just come out and say it? Okay, well, and I was driving my son to work this morning because he's actually lucky enough to be working in this food service industry. And I was thinking to myself, okay, so the government said 6 months. So they released all this money for these people who are on the dole, right? Very soon, they're going to start clawing that money back, folks. And what they're going to say to people is, well, you can open now. The business can stay open. And you're only out of work for 3 weeks. Do you see where this is heading? This is heading for chaos, absolute chaos. So the people that are out of work are going to try and go back into work, and the companies are going to go, we've got no work for you, mate. And as soon as those guys step foot through that door, the government's not going to give them any money anymore. And then they will have to go on the dole, which is a lot less than what the government was prepared to pay people. And here's the other thing. The government needs you to get, the government didn't realise that this was going to happen, I don't think. You're actually paying people more, like waiters, etc., to stay at home than now to go to work, part-timers anyway. they're getting $750 a week. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to realise that, hey, if I was getting $450 and the government's offering me $750, I'm not going back to work. So this is going to turn into utter chaos in the next couple of weeks. The only way they can get out of this now is to actually have another pandemic and shut everyone down again. And to all you people in Australia out there that are all this virgin, we need virgin, blah, blah, blah. Did you read how much debt they're in? What they need to do is actually get the managers of Virgin and actually put them in stocks and let people throw food and veggies at them. $8 billion in the red so far. And to everyone out there who's saying, oh, we need to help buy out Virgin, da, da, da. Here's a little snippet of information for you. And if you want to test this, go for your life. You can go down to the courthouse and do this, put a submission in straight away, and you will stop it dead. If there's a hint that the government's going to buy Virgin or Qantas or anyone else, right? The government, in the Western civilized world, there's an agreement that governments of the world will not own a business. Say the Australian government, for example, they cannot own, say, Qantas. That's why Qantas was sold. That's why Telstra was sold. That's why Uber won. Because the government cannot, any Western government cannot own a monopoly on anything. So why do you think they had the all the energy companies around Australia, which were state-owned, are now owned by, they're not owned, by the way, they're owned by the government, but the government has put subsidiary under them, Origin, Alinta, all these names that you can think of, whatever they are in the West, South Australia, because the government is not allowed to own any of these businesses. That's a fact. The federal government especially cannot own a business. It's not there to run businesses. It's illegal. And the reason Uber won is because someone clever in Uber sat there and went, I'm going to run a taxi company. Well, you can't do that because you've got to get a government license and blah, blah, blah. And bingo, click. They went, hang on a minute. That means the government's running a monopoly. Bang. That's why every country, Western country in the world now has Uber, because by law, they can't own a business and they can't run a monopoly. That's a fact. You want to check it out? Go to or ask a business lawyer. They'll tell you the same thing. It's just in Australia, we've let them get away with it for years and years and years. So if you don't believe me, you can actually go and find it out. It's pretty easy. It's not rocket science. So here's the other reason I haven't been posting. I have been madly trying to get things ready. And it's not easy with my illness. I've been pretty sick at the end of each day because I'm overdoing it a bit. Look, basically with my, if I cruise through a day, I'm okay usually. I'm not okay. I get to the end and I'm pretty knackered. But I'm actually suffering from exhaustion at the moment because of the fact I'm trying to get so much done and it's just making me sick. So, it's 11 o'clock today. I haven't even started doing anything today because I'm so knackered. And I've got to be careful that it can put me in bed for literally days because the pain will spike. And anyway, so look, all I've been doing is prepping, getting everything ready, building a new chicken house, new fences, which is hard enough as it is if you're a fit fella without my illness. And I've also been doing the renovations. I'm in my son's bedroom again today because it's finally finished. Yay! So it's all these things that I've been doing to try and make our life easier once this transition starts. And what do I mean by that? Okay. Sometime soon, I want to get David Morgan back on to talk about this actually. Sometime soon, there will be a transition. Now, obviously, this can either be one or two things, a hard transition or a soft transition. So, for example, Trump may come out, I don't think he's going to do this, but they may come out, and it's got to be led by America, by the way, and they may come out and go, we're going to put 3 trillion, 10 trillion, doesn't matter, aside, and we're going to put the gold standard to that $10 trillion. And on this date, everything changes, because you need to understand in this transition that we're going through at the moment, oil is no longer a bargaining tool because of America, because America's now got, you know, massive reserves of oil, fracking, etc., whatever they're doing to get the oil out of the ground, they're doing it. So the world now has a glut of oil. The big problem with that is countries like Russia, Saudi Arabia, who else? Qatar, Abu Dhabi, they need to be selling oil for $80 a barrel. That's the minimum. Can go to, I think it was 73, but they need to be selling it at a constant 80 now to keep the country afloat. So I don't know who's doing this, by the way, but if you've been watching the stock market, then you know that it's all over the show like a mad woman's breakfast. It's, you know, just look, it's so manipulated and so bad. I haven't even been paying attention to it. I have been paying attention to the bond market, and that's also, there was something interesting happening in the bond market this recently. I'm not going to show you today, but those things are now turning lethal. There's people sitting in rooms at the moment going, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because oil went negative. They're actually giving it away. They had so much of it. So yeah, look, there's a hard transition, in my opinion. Well, actually, I don't know about hard at the moment. It's not hard at the moment. It's soft transition, because the petrodollar is no longer what's buoying up the dollar. What's buoying up the dollar at the moment is people buying US dollars. And there's tons of them. And this is the other huge problem. So just say Trump comes out tomorrow and he goes, as of Monday, and he holds up a new banknote and he goes, this is a new US dollar. So he comes out 5 o'clock Friday afternoon in America after the stock market's closed and goes, ladies and gentlemen, here's the new US dollar, which will be started on Monday. Everything as of 5 o'clock today is finished. All debts are forgiven. We're starting as of Monday at zero, nothing. And we're going on the gold standard. Which one do you think is more feasible? Because even a blind, deaf donkey can now understand that the American debt is not going to be repaid. They're even talking about it. If you watch the news, which I said to you is a propaganda, every now and again, you'll hear them say it in their subliminal messages that they give out. The US debt is now too large. The US debt is now 26 trillion, going on to 27. Well, it's actually a lot more than that. We all know that. But anyway, look, that's what's on the debt clock. The US debt cannot be repaid back. The US debt, blah, 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 blah. So there's going to be a transition, like it or not. Now, here's something. I'll find this for you. Hang on. Okay. Now, you may have missed this, and I'm guessing a lot of people did miss this. It's an interview with Lindsey Graham, right? On Fox News. I'll leave the link in the description box so you can actually watch it. Now, the interesting thing about this video or interview is Lindsey Graham actually states what the US is now going to do because, look, I don't know too much about the semantics of US politics. I don't know if Lindsey Graham's a good guy or a bad guy. You know, I don't really give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, they're all bad guys. That's why I've never got into Q, never got into Trump. You know, I think he's doing a good job, but do I know if he's good or a guy, bad guy? I don't know. What I do know is that if you're going to be a president of the United States, then unfortunately you've got strings attached to you that makes you somebody's puppet. Unless you are one of the most outstanding characters in the world that can pull this off by yourself, and that's just not going to happen. So look, Lindsey Graham is working for somebody who knows something, because he's a congressman, I think. I don't think he's a senator. Now, in this interview, he states quite categorically exactly what the US is now going to do with China. 1, cancel all visas for all the kids that go to American universities. 2, cancel all visas and close accounts for Chinese people that come to America or got businesses in America and actually take over the businesses. And 3, what was the third one? Yeah, maybe we'll listen to it. Hang on a second. Okay, actually what I'm going to do is I'll play this and you can listen to it, okay? 1 second. Listen to this.
You know, are there teeth in this? Tell me about the sanctions. So if they don't do those 3 things, or even one of those 3 things, what's going to happen to them?
That's a great question. One, we're going to seize assets of Chinese officials that are responsible for not reporting the pandemic. We're going to cut China off from U.S. financial institutions. We're going to shut down visa travel into the United States for Chinese students. We're going to close off America to China, the Chinese economy, and we're going to make it hard for them to do business in the United States until they fully cooperate, close the wet markets, and release the Hong Kong democracy advocates. There's real teeth in this bill, but the only way it will really have teeth if it's just bipartisan. So to the
And there you have it. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna give this 4 weeks, just 4 weeks. There's going to be this, you tell us what we want to know from America to China, or we start doing this. Number 1, you lose all your business with America. Can you just imagine for a second, right? Now, to all those people out there that are probably thinking, oh shit, this is going to be bad for Australia and America and everyone else, put yourselves in the Chinese shoes, right? They are nothing without America. And they're absolutely bullshitting through their teeth if they turn around and say, oh, we don't need America, we've got the rest of the world. Well, the rest of the world will follow America. Not so much Europe straight away, but most of Europe. So can you imagine the upheaval in China? But can you imagine the propaganda in China against the rest of the world, against the US especially? Oh, they're destroying your way of life and blah, 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 et cetera, because they're not going to have any, they're not going to have any idea about what's going on outside the world because they're communists. It's a communist-run state. So the US, Trump, is actually going to do this shit. If China doesn't tell everyone what this came from, how it started, et cetera, then we're about 4 weeks away from mass chaos, folks. You've got 4 weeks literally left. That's 4 weeks you've got before this goes haywire. Now, if as I'm expecting, in that 4 weeks, China's going to do a couple of things. They may turn around to the US and go, well, we're going to cut you off. Then they're going to start sending big fleets down to the South China Sea and stop the world from actually getting through the South China Sea. Where do you think that's going to end up? I've told you before, the very day that they put a long-range bomber on those islands to bomb Pine, that can get to Pine Gap, all bets are off. So if you hear of a fleet of ships, that's not so bad. But if you hear of a couple of planes, big long-range bombers, and you'll hear about it, America's going to say they're landing long-range bombers on these Spratly Islands, whatever they're called now. That's the day that it gets really serious, because Pine Gap cannot be surrendered under any circumstances. Everybody knows that. So you've got 4 weeks, I reckon, of this before it starts getting nasty. It's not going to drag on forever. And there's 2 reasons for that. You're dealing with a guy, a dictator for life now in China, president for life, and you're dealing with a guy in America, Trump, who ain't going to back down. Say what you will about him, but once he says that's it, that's it. There's not going to be any turning back. So you've got 4 weeks to really start getting serious about getting everything ready. Like I said, I'll leave the link in the description box and you can watch the interview. But you've got to wonder, who told Lindsey Graham to come on TV and say this stuff? Because it wasn't me, and it wasn't you, and it wasn't the Congress. So get ready, folks, it's coming. Right, let's do the prayers. Okay, folks, verse of the day from Ephesians 4:15. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. And as always, folks, we'll finish with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Righto, folks, I'm going to leave it there. I'm pretty sure you got the message. Get your ass in gear if you haven't already. Good luck to you. God bless. Prep out.